What are you hearing from people in Congress about this new speaker?
One, they're happy that it's done. They are, Republicans in particular, have spent 3 weeks fighting with each other, fighting in the press, yelling at each other behind closed doors, and are ready to put this behind them. But there's a lot of questions about what happens next. Mike Johnson, as you mentioned, is not super well known, both inside Washington as well as outside Washington. And he was intentionally very light on details, though, specifically about how he's going to govern. So he laid out a plan to do a continuing resolution, a stopgap spending bill, because there's frankly just not enough time to get the government funded in the next 3 weeks, because the past 3 weeks have been all about picking the next speaker. But some of these thorny issues that dogged McCarthy that are going to continue to be a problem, things like Ukraine, Israel aid, what level you fund the government at, are going to be issues that he's going to have to contend with and would really test his leadership style, which is frankly unknown.
Well, a lot of these are on Elizabeth Warren's mind. We heard from the Democratic senator earlier weighing in on the emergency funding proposal in a conversation with Bloomberg.
These are threats ultimately to the United States. War in the Middle East is not good, not only for the people who live there, but not good for the United States. Letting Russia overrun Ukraine is not good for the United States. So saying we have an emergency package to put all of these things together, it's the right way to handle it.
It should definitely be separated. Again, there's strong bipartisan support to provide whatever Israel needs so it can defend itself. Whether you agree or disagree, support for Ukraine is more controversial. So let's get the support, speeding its way to Israel and not let it get bogged down trying to tie it to Ukraine.
Senator Ron Johnson there as well with the Republican perspective, at least for some. Julie Fine, I want to hear from you on this because there's no assumption that all these monies will pass in one bill. Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan, and border security. How is this Republican conference going to manage the request from the White House?
Well, the Republican conference has a lot ahead right now, and they're doing it, again, as you touched on, with somebody that not a lot of people know very well. So clearly they're going to handle Israel first, but then there's going to be questions immediately about Ukraine, along with the border. So I think what the Republicans are going to have to do is, first of all, show some faith in the speaker. The speaker's going to have to show how he's going to lead and immediately get something passed for Israel.
A lot of lawmakers, Julie, have been exhausted by this entire process, and many of them said they're hearing from constituents back home outside the Beltway who are talking about the fact that this is chaotic and a circus. What are you hearing from, you're in Texas, you're getting a different perspective than we are. What are you hearing from people who just want to see Washington get back to doing their jobs?
This is one where I think nationally you're hearing basically the same thing, like get your work done. You have to be there. We put you in place to be there. So now at this point, just get your work done. Come together, and enough of this already. I mean, it was 3 weeks, but it seemed much longer. And for people that were waiting to see action specifically on Israel and on Ukraine, they were frustrated. I heard it here. You heard it there. At this point, they just want to see something get done, and they want it to be done quickly. And then with the realization that pretty soon you have to get around to funding the government, which is not something that Congress gets done quickly.
Laura, is this new speaker someone who's going to work across the aisle with the Democratic leader in the House? Is he on the phone with Hakeem Jeffries later today? Maybe they've already spoken. You might have some news on that. And will there be a partnership here, or will this be an antagonistic relationship?
That is something that Johnson mentioned specifically today, that he looks forward to working with Democrats. There was a call with Biden today. Chuck Schumer issued a statement saying he was looking forward to speaking with Johnson, same with Jeffries. But this is going to be a real test, because it's easy to sort of say, yes, I want to work with Democrats. That's the whole kind of thing that polls well. And he will have to work with Democrats because there's a Democrat in the White House and the Senate is in Democratic hands. But he's going to have, again, his right flank there that's always kind of, pressuring him, saying, don't make deals, don't cut deals. And so how he manages that will be very difficult because he doesn't really have relationships with any of these people. He can start out potentially on the right foot, but this is going to be a sort of a tightrope for him to walk in the next few weeks.
We also heard from President Biden today, not just congratulating Representative Mike Johnson, but also when he was standing with the Australian Prime Minister, he also addressed what is going on in Israel.
Israel has the right, and I would add a responsibility, to respond to the slaughter of their people. And we will ensure Israel has what it needs to defend itself against these terrorists. That's a guarantee. That does not lessen the need to operate in line with the laws of war. For Israel has to do everything in its power. Israel has to do everything in its power. As difficult it is to protect innocent civilians. And it's difficult.
This at times has been a hard needle for this president to thread. Of course, he's going to come out and absolutely condemn Hamas's massacre, that October 7th massacre on Israel, and say we stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel. But he's also being pressured, isn't he, by a lot of progressives in Congress to do more when it comes to the Palestinians living in Gaza.
Yeah, and this is, part of the whole package. There is humanitarian aid in there, but he's getting a lot of pressure from, again, his left flank. We talk about Mike Johnson worried about his right flank, that this is going to be an issue that is a little tricky for him to navigate. And, as the conflict goes on, as the humanitarian crisis on the ground gets worse, those cries are only going to get louder. You heard from both Biden last week when he was in Israel, as well as today from Emmanuel Macron when he was in Israel, saying, look, let's move slowly, let's move carefully and deliberately. Let's not make the mistakes that the U.S. made after 9/11 of sort of barreling right in and, think more diligently about how the response to the October 7th attacks are played out so that you don't hurt civilians.